What's up, everybody? It's Troy Cartwright. Welcome back to another episode of 10 Year Town. Before we get started, do me a favor. Make sure you're subscribed to the pod on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, wherever you listen or watch podcasts, and enjoy the show. We appreciate you. Thanks. Today's guest is Grammy-nominated songwriter Ben Johnson. He's had 11 number one songs, including Truck Bed, recorded by Hardy, and One of Them Girls, recorded by Lee Brice. This is a really inspiring episode. I learned so much in this chat with Ben. I know you guys will too. So without further ado, here he is, Ben Johnson. Like, how far back? Because there's songs that I remember.
Yeah.
But you write so many.
Right.
So I only get 2 or 3 years of where I can really recall.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
What I try and do every year is write a list of all the ones that are good.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of like quickly, it's like, oh, so-and-so's looking for a song. So I literally have like
It's so funny you're bringing that up because we were literally just talking about this. I was like, I got to figure out a way to categorize songs because I was like, especially if somebody's like, oh, so-and-so's looking for this type of song. I'm like, oh, I can't remember.
That's what I'm saying.
There's like thousands of songs.
Yeah,
now.
it's just hard. It's just hard to like remember back very far. I some years I'll have like, I'll literally record every song and like rate them.
So that's kind of what I was thinking about doing.
But it doesn't work very well.
Okay, why not?
Because you're just seeing all the songs. So far,
Right.
what I found is the best is I just try not to think about it too much. And I'm like, hey, what were all the songs that were good?
Okay.
Because
Just like whichever ones come to your mind?
yeah, and like I'll listen back. I'll look at my list that I made and I'll pull from that. But I just want to have like a quick reference because I think last week.
Yeah. But sometimes the songs you think are good are not
That's
good. And then sometimes the ones you think suck are actually good.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's dependent a lot on like your inner song compass, which can lie to us.
And that can change like at the time.
Yeah. And also sometimes like my issue is like weird example, but somebody was like, we want a patriotic song. And then I was like, all right, how many America songs do I have? And then I was like, how do I even find that? You know, like, I don't know. That's a weird example because like I don't even know if categorizing songs would help that. But maybe if it was like, heartbreak song rated 10 and it's this genre, maybe this sound. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, you need some like hashtags.
Yeah, honestly.
America.
Yeah. Patriotic.
Yeah. Dang. I hadn't thought about that. Are we good?
Yeah.
Right on.
All right.
Yeah, dude, it's oh, okay, thanks, buddy.
We got the double thumbs up.
We're locked in. Well, sometimes like the levels are nobody tells me anything.
Oh yeah.
Dude, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
Dude, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've been a fan of the podcast, so it's cool like to be on the other side of the screen here.
Yeah. You're seeing how it all works.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Is the room bigger than you imagined?
Yeah, it's like more professional than I expected. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like, geez,
Let's
okay.
go,
I thought
dude.
this was just at your house, to be honest. I didn't know. We're like at a proper studio.
Yeah, that's
But
actually
that's good. That's the vibe you want to give.
Actually, when we started, we tried to do it at my house. My dogs are just so.
Oh yeah.
And like the more I thought about it, I was like, people don't want to come to my house. You know,
That's fair. What kind of dogs do you have?
they're like a little Shih Tzu.
Oh yeah. Oh,
One's a
that's
Shih Tzu. One's like was supposed to be a Shih Tzu, but it's a poodle.
good. Oh yeah.
You know, it's a small poodle, but
Oh yeah.
they're not used to people being over,
Oh,
so they don't
yeah.
act correct.
Oh no, man.
You know?
Every time I think they can sense the more they need to behave, the worse they behave.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my dog's perfect until I'm like, all right, this is important. I need you to like be on your best behavior. And then she acts like an absolute wild animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I always start this thing off with the same question, which is, how long have you been in town?
Okay. So I moved here, I think coming up on 14 years, maybe 13 and a half years.
Where from?
So Meridian, Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah. Little town, Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's
like a song, right? If it's not a song,
Meridian, Mississippi.
Meridian. Isn't there
be.
like some song? Sarah Evans, or I don't know.
Maybe.
Doesn't
I don't know.
matter.
I need to look it up if there is. We're kind of like, if you know about us, it's usually in country music, it's because Jimmy Rogers is from there. And Jimmy Rogers is like the father of country music, you know? He was like the OG, the Blue Yodeler is what they called him. But he sang with like the Carter family and all that stuff. But he was like one of the first like famous country acts. But he died when he was real young, like from tuberculosis or whatever, you know? So, but he's so growing up, it was like a lot of country music because of him. But PV Electronics, also out of Meridian.
Okay.
If you ever played a PV amp, that's where they're from.
Wow.
And then what else is Meridian known for? We have a Chick-fil-A like on one of the exits. A lot of people know about. Like if you're passing through going to New Orleans, you might have seen our Chick-fil-A.
I love that.
So yeah, I think like Randy Hauser's from right outside Meridian.
Okay.
And then Haley Williams, I think, is from near Meridian.
Okay.
So it's honestly
something in the water around there.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of people. Hardy's from about 30 minutes away. So he's from Philadelphia, which is real close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So did you move straight here from?
Yeah, I literally lived in the same like house, same bedroom my entire life until I moved here.
Dang.
Yeah, it was kind of wild.
Did you like what was the impetus for moving here?
Yeah, so I had a bluegrass band with my two sisters.
Okay.
And we toured the Southeast. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing, but, you know, we had fun and people would invite us to play festivals and backyard birthday parties, whatever, funerals, weddings. I mean, anything. Okay. You know, we were playing whatever.
y'all were making it work.
We were making it work. I mean, we were just having fun. You know, we played at like Dollywood and Silver Dollar City, that kind of stuff. And we played this show at this place called the Temple Theater in our hometown. And I remember this guy came up to us afterwards. His name was Marty Gamblin. Shout out Marty. And who just passed away this year. Rest in peace. And he was like, hey, y'all are really good. Like, y'all ever think about making a career in music? And we were like, I mean, yeah, that'd be sick. We don't know how to do that, though. And he's like, well, you should move to Nashville. We're like, really?
Yeah.
You think we're good enough to move to Nashville? Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, like, I worked with, like, Alan Jackson and Glenn Campbell. Like, and he's like, y'all got what it takes. You can do this. And we're like, all right, sick. So we saved up our money for, like, a year. So I was teaching tennis lessons and music lessons. I was going to community college and saved up the money. And then me and my two sisters all moved here at the same time. Wow. So, yeah, a lot of my stories intertwine with their stories because, like, we did a lot of life together.
Yeah.
And so I was 19, my older sister was 20.
Okay.
And my younger sister was 15. So we became like her legal guardian.
Wow.
And we all moved to Royal Arms, Green Hills. If you know where that is.
Yep,
like,
no doubt.
Yeah, a lot of people have
I mean, I drive by it every day.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like a rite of passage. I feel like you're always, it's like the Kevin Bacon of like, you know, apartment complexes in Nashville because it's like everybody either has lived there or knows someone who's lived there.
Yeah.
So, so we moved there to like a tiny little apartment and, you know, at the time I think it was $600 a month.
Yeah.
But, you know, popcorn ceiling on the wall, the whole thing. And was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. So I actually went to Belmont with a cello scholarship, which is like a whole random thing. And then my older sister went to Lipscomb. And then, that's how we moved here. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Didn't know anything about songwriting.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about anything really. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, like when this guy says like move here and then you do actually move here, do you have any like contacts really or
no?
Yeah,
I mean,
so you're just
no, not really. I mean,
you're going to school and you're like, I'm just gonna figure it out.
Just kind of blind faith, right? You know, I don't think we really knew anybody, man. It was
it's so like confusing.
Yeah.
The music business. It's like when you want to start, especially if you don't know anybody,
right?
It's so hard because it's like some people. I'm really jealous of people who like have an uncle that's a songwriter,
right?
Or like was a manager or something because I've spent the first 6 years of my career like in a dark room looking for a light switch.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know where to go.
Dude, yeah, 100%.
So,
it's funny, you know, just kind of like talking about how little we knew. We had been writing songs like amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
And just individually.
Yeah.
And we played this show, and Rivers Rutherford, who's a legendary Nashville writer, heard us play this show, and he came up to us afterwards. This is like our first week in town.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, y'all are really good. Would love to write with y'all. And we were like, what? Like, we were offended. We were like, you think we're not good enough to write ourselves? We didn't understand what co-writing was.
Yeah.
And so we're like, no, thanks, dude. You know, like, we were like super offended. We're like, can you believe that guy thought our songs weren't good enough? Like, we were so stupid. And then he was like, no, that's like how it works. And so thankfully, we were really, really lucky to meet him early in our process here.
Yeah.
And we ended up writing with him within the first year we were here.
Okay.
And that's honestly where I learned what co-writing was and how to co-write was through Rivers. And
it's a great teacher.
Great mentor. You know, my first real mentor. I'm big on finding mentors. I was always very strategic about my career and how I was going to make it work. I mean, my ultimate goal was just like, how can I fool the universe into letting me like do something I like to do for fun for a living?
Yeah.
You know, I'm still trying to, like that's still the goal.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I need to find somebody who's like 10 steps ahead of me. So I've always been about that. Like, all right, I mean, to this day, I'm like, all right, how do I if I want to get here, I need to find someone who's been there and beyond.
Yeah.
And then they can tell me how they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
He was my first one though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break here to tell you about our friends, the Graphic Guitar Guys. If you've ever thought about having a custom guitar, whether for merch, a giveaway, or a unique VIP package item, Graphic Guitar Guys makes it simple. They've worked with some of the biggest names in country music, handling everything from the guitar to full color graphics and shipping, and it's all for one easy price. They're also a great option for album pre-sale bundles or fan collectibles. I've worked with Scott and the rest of the team myself, and they really do make the whole process effortless. Check them out at thegraphicguitarguys.com. Now, back to the show. Did you at some point realize like songwriting and like getting a pub deal was sort of like what you were looking for?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it was Elon Musk said, somebody said like, what's the biggest pitfall in accomplishing your dreams? And he said like wishful thinking. And I think that's so true. Like, especially I've always tried to be a realist. You kind of have to have this narcissism, right? Of like, I can do this. I'm amazing. Nobody can tell me different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've always had this like pessimism of like, I don't think I'm anything special, So I'm like, I got to work harder and be more strategic and like figure out how to do this in spite of maybe my limitations. So one thing we did, we were like, okay, we're probably not good enough for people to just give us their best songs. We're not like Tim McGraw or somebody, who's like or Morgan Wallen or whoever. It's just gifted. So we were like, I guess we're going to have to like figure out how to write songs ourselves. And then at the same time, I saw kind of what was going on. And I was going, oh, I think if I can produce, I can get in better rooms than I should because there's less producers. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to get really good at Logic. And so I basically read this book called Outliers, and it was like, okay, 10,000 hours is how much time you need to put into something to get really good at it. Yep. So I wrote 2 songs a day, except for Sundays, for about 4 years. And then I would just...
Did you do them all in Logic?
Yeah, I did them all in Logic. And what I would do too is I would take songs that I loved. I would take like, whatever, like You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. And I would recreate the song in Logic like perfectly. And so I was like, if I can figure out how to make it sound exactly like it, then I'll know how to produce. Yeah. So I would just rework songs that I knew, then I would just copy them. Mm-hmm. And that was how I taught myself how to produce. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, publishing deal is a big goal. We had like our goals up on the wall, like publishing deal was a big one. And then of course, every kid who moves from Nashville wants a record deal. So that was up there, gotta get the record deal. But honestly, publishing deal was, such a big objective because I was like, oh, if I can do that, I don't have to work all these jobs because I was working all these odd jobs and trying to make ends meet.
Were you doing anything interesting?
Honestly, the main thing I did, so I was really good at cello. Okay. Like cello was my first instrument and I was like really good at it. And so I would play tons of cello gigs, whether it was like recording studio work or my main gig was playing weddings. Okay. And so I would play like 3 or 4 weddings every weekend. Yeah. Yeah, and so I was just like, and that could kind of get me through the week. And then my sister, she worked at Covenant Presbyterian for like their youth group. So we were all like pooling our money together to survive. And then my younger sister was like, she was like babysitting and doing like some house management stuff for some people when she was like 16, which is crazy. Yeah, but, so we would kind of pool all of our money together to pay the bills every month. Dang. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, did that for like first 4.5 years I was here.
think the cello might be my favorite instrument.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, man.
No idea how to play it.
No, you know what was crazy? I was the only. I think I was like the only cello player in my entire state.
Yeah.
Like there was no one else in Mississippi for sure. My entire town.
Yeah.
So
no,
like
that's scarcity, dude.
It is. Yeah. What's interesting though is like I thought I sucked forever because I didn't have any comparison. So my granddad, this is crazy but true. So when I was 6, my grandma taught me how to play piano. That was my first instrument. Then when I was 9, I was like, I want to play something else. My mom was like, hey, if you want to play a different instrument, you got to save up and pay for it. So, I picked up pine cones, did whatever I could, and I saved up $100 and I bought a cello on eBay.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, didn't even fit me. It was a tiny little kid's cello. I was too big for it, but whatever. And that's how, that's kind of how I started playing cello, but there was no teachers in our town. So my granddad, dude, is a goat to this day for this, but he drove me like 2 hours each direction every Friday to the nearest cello teacher.
That's wild.
So every Friday I would go take cello lessons for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And I had a really great teacher, but he's really tough. His name's Alexander Rusikovsky.
Yeah.
Right. And he was really hard on me. He would just be like, yeah, you're terrible. Like you're not practicing enough. Like when I was your age, I was doing 2 lessons a week and practicing 4 hours a day. And I'm like, I'm barely practicing 30 minutes a day. So I never like to practice, I like to play, but not practice.
Yeah, totally.
And, so I thought I sucked forever. And then I showed up to Belmont, I was transferring there for community college and I was like, I guess I can audition because I can play a little cello. And I played and they were like, oh yeah, this is like the best audition we've had in like years. So I was like, oh, all that tough love that he gave me really paid off because without that scholarship, I definitely would not have been able to afford to go to Belmont. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. Cello opened a lot of doors for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's interesting to just like, all the stuff you do when you're a kid and like learning how to learn essentially. Yeah. Was super lost on me, Yeah. But kind of, as I got older, it was like, oh, okay.
In what way? You mean like you were not sure? Like,
like I was naturally really good at tennis.
Oh, me too. I love tennis.
So I love tennis. We should play.
Yeah.
And
you got into pickleball yet?
So yeah, I have.
Not as much.
It just makes me want to play tennis.
Okay, fair enough.
But but I do like to play pickleball.
Okay.
Just as an aside.
Okay.
So I started taking lessons. And I got my school to agree to let me do like off campus.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I would play tennis 8 to 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got a lot better because I was doing it all the time.
Yep.
But it wasn't until like I quit at a certain point when I was like 15 or 16. And it wasn't until I was like 21, 22 where I like had done this internship where I worked a real job.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, yeah, if I'm going to play music for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to like spend a lot more time playing music. And I'm going to have to go back to doing all that stuff that I was doing when I was learning tennis of like, just like joining a wedding band. So you have to learn 100 songs. So you had to shed 100 tunes. Yeah. I mean, it took me, the first song was so hard to learn. Yeah. By the 60th song, I could learn a song in 20 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
And now I can learn a song. Like if I need to learn a song for some reason.
Because you have it all under your belt now.
Yeah, I mean, I just know it's like, okay, I got to process.
Yeah, I always tell people like never, and I tell people this, but I really tell myself this, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, never consider yourself the exception. Yeah. Because it's like, there's probably some people who could learn like 2 songs and then like their 3rd song, they write a hit and they're amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like that probably does exist. Like I remember hearing like James Taylor in interviews like, I've written 100 songs in my life. And I was like, oh God, I wrote 100 songs the last 3 weeks, but he's the exception, not the rule. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So I'm like, I've always tried to see things like, oh, I'm not the exception. Like most people are going to need 10,000 hours of work to get good at something. I'm probably most people.
Yeah. So what did your first publishing deal, how did that sort of materialize?
Yeah, so it took me a really long time. I was in town, I think at least 7 years for my first deal. And I think it's given me a little chip on my shoulder. It's kind of taken me a while to kind of feel comfortable to say that maybe. But yeah, I definitely felt super overlooked for a really long time. And it's funny now that I'm starting my own publishing company and signing people, I look for people like that because I'm just like, oh man, all my friends were getting deals and like, I was be like, why am I not getting a deal? I'm like, God, I'm so poor. I need money. Like this could change my life. But, yeah, my mom always says God's either saving you from something or for something, And so I feel like I was definitely being saved from a lot of bad scenarios. When I look back now, I'm like, oh, I almost got a deal at this place. That would have not been good.
Right.
So yeah, I've told this story before, but I was my PRO at the time threw this like party for me. So I'd gone up and down. I visited every publisher. I got told no 15 different ways. And it's always the Nashville no, where it's like, oh,
man,
you're
we'll
amazing. See. Oh my God, this is great. We'll set you up with our writers. Let's date before we get married. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. It never happened. And then one time my PRO like threw this party for me. They invited all the publishers and I played. I was like, killed it. And then I call them the next day, like, who wants to sign me? They're like, nobody called, buddy. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. This one song I kept playing. And I thought it was cool. And then long story short, I was meeting up with Ashley Gorley. So I kind of met him and I convinced him to listen to my songs. And I was like, if I come out to your house and I remember I said, like, if you could just tell me why my songs suck, that's all I need from you.
Yeah.
And later he told me, he was like, that's why I met with you, because no one ever said it like that, because I was like, I don't need to know. I'm not trying to convince you that I'm great. I want to know what I'm not doing well enough, right?
Yeah.
So I'd gone out there maybe twice and he kind of gave me feedback on my songs, which was really helpful. And then the third time I went out, I was like, I have this song, I think it's cool. And I played it for him. He's like, yeah, send it to me. I sent it to him. And then 2 a.m. the next morning, he called me and it was like Charlie Puth in the studio just recorded this song. This is like right after Attention. So it was like, wow. Oh my gosh, the biggest artist in the world just has my song. I didn't even know. And then he was like, oh yeah, it's Charlie called me. It's my next single. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
So my life changed very quickly after that, and suddenly I went from a lot of no's to a lot of yeses, and nothing changed about me. That's what I always tell people, it's like, if you're feeling down, you might have already done the work. At that time, that song was like a year old,
Yeah.
So I was like, you might have already done the work you need to do, like don't give up, keep your head down. And so, yeah, that song got me my first deal.
Yeah.
And
was it with Ashley?
Yeah, it was with Ashley. And
so do you recall, it's just an interesting question that popped into my head, like when he was giving you feedback early on, the first 2 times you met, did he say anything that like stuck with you that you think like helped you level up or whatever?
Yeah, I think one thing that really helped me was just like having the preparation to get ready for those meetings with him, because I would take, it was a really big deal, he was the biggest and he was my songwriting hero. It was like, I really wanted to be ultra prepared and have the best songs possible. And I would do crazy things. I would print out lyrics from every #1 song of the year, and I would study the lyrics and I'd go through with a marker and whatever. Then I had this thing where I would, like, as soon as I woke up, I would write down 100 titles without thinking about it. And then before I went to sleep, I would get rid of 90 of them. So to try to mine for ideas.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot, man. I was like hustling really hard. And then I would like try to prove it to him. I would go there and be like, dude, look how much work I'm doing. I'm doing this and this and this. And I'm writing these EDM songs and I'm writing country songs. I'm writing all these different genres, So I think a big part of it was like, just preparing for those meetings forced me to be like intentional about my work.
Yeah.
And then, I think my weakest part of my game at that point was definitely like my lyrics. I think my concepts were okay and my melodies were okay. And my production was pretty good, but yeah, I think lyrically, he could poke holes in it and be like, oh, you said this in the second verse, but you could have actually said this instead.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting inside his brain a little bit. And the best way really to learn that is to level up, the people surrounding you and your co-writes, I think around that time, he introduced me to Hunter Phelps, who became, one of my closest collaborators to this day. And I learned so much from writing with Hunter. And then, Hunter and I started writing with Hardy and then learned a lot from writing with Hardy, so it definitely builds on itself, kind of snowballs in a way, but yeah, I think really just getting ready for those meetings was kind of the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Hunter has like this way of writing. I don't know how to, it's like, he's not even trying.
Dude, he's so sneaky.
Yeah, I don't mean he's not trying. I'm saying like he's like,
no, it's so unassuming.
Like, it's finesse.
It's finesse, and it's. I always say Hunter says the line that no one can think of. It's like always he's great at saying the line that goes into the chorus or going like, oh, actually this one line will set off that hook perfectly.
Yeah.
He's so good with just like conceptually saying the right line for the hook.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say I've written more songs with him than pretty much anybody in this town. And I love him to death.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when you got the Charlie Puth thing and then you signed your deal, did you feel like did it all change like pretty quickly?
Yes and no. So as I think it's a rite of passage. I haven't met many people who haven't had this happen, but the guaranteed single did not become the single. Oh, right?
Really?
Yeah. So
that never happens.
Yeah, it never happens, right? Never heard that before. So, which was crazy because, they filmed a music video and, I met Charlie and he would call publishers when I met with him and be like, Ben's got my next single. So it felt so guaranteed.
Yeah.
And the night before, I don't know if I've ever told the story actually.
Yeah.
The night before it's supposed to come out, I get a call from my lawyer, who is Charlie's lawyer at the time. And he was like, hey man, I have some bad news. I'm literally waiting for the clock to strike midnight to see the song come out.
Yeah.
He's like, they switched the single. They wanted to do this song with another girl on his label to help promote her as well. So they switched the song to a duet.
Yeah.
Literally that last second. And I was like gutted.
Yeah.
So I got a publishing deal, but at the same time that was right afterwards. So it was like, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
And then the song did come out. It was on his album and it actually went gold. It did really well, but it was never single. So as we know, album cuts, even if they stream a lot, don't really feed the fam. So, it was really, really hard time in my life where I actually went through a bit of depression because of it, because I was kind of like, well, that was my shot. And I didn't hit the shot.
Yeah. And I think too, it's such a important lesson to learn, but the only way I think to learn it is to go through it, is that we live in this wild oscillation between and they say that this is like the entrepreneur's journey as well. So it's not just music, but it's like there's euphoria and there's terror. And there's really no in between.
Yeah.
And so I think you have to develop skills as you go along to learn this is true for me anyway, that I am my own person.
Yeah.
And my work is my work.
Right.
But I can't let my day-to-day interaction with like my family or my friends or even in my co-write be dictated by like this wildly swinging pendulum.
Oh, you'll be miserable all the time, right?
Yeah, and then you're
even the top people in our game are only succeeding like 1% of the time.
Totally.
So if you're only happy 1% of the time, you're going to be a pretty miserable person. So you got to separate results from the process from your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I find so much joy now just in the process.
Yes.
Like that is the reward to me.
100%.
And, as I've started to have success, it's never, it's never like always the one that I thought.
No.
But it's just the total body of work.
Being consistent. And there's a great book. I mean, two things. Oh, big train vibes.
Yeah.
Two things that happened kind of while I was depressed. Well, maybe three.
Yeah.
One thing that happened was I read this book called The War of Art.
Oh, yeah. I've done a whole episode on it.
Oh my God.
Changed my life. I reread it every year.
I read a page every day.
Yeah, there you go.
And so we don't even have to, if you've done a whole episode, we don't have to dive all the way into it, but change my perspective on how I treat my work and how I treat artistic, creation process in general.
Yeah.
So I did that. I watched a movie called About Time.
Okay. Never seen it.
Phenomenal movie. Highly recommend.
All right.
Just talks about, putting proper perspective on things that are important in life.
Okay. And
the things that we think are really important in life are a lot of times not the things that should be taking up a lot of headspace and worry in our brain and our time.
Yeah.
And then I'll also say, going back to Hunter, I remember being real depressed, and I was at Ashley Gorley's studio out in the country, and it was Hunter and I used to do a lot of two-ways. We had a weekly two-way, and I remember telling him, I was like, man, I'm feeling really down. And he was like, dude, I was feeling really down like last week. I was like, really? You were? Like, I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind. And we just had this talk about just like how hard the industry is and how much pressure we put on ourselves and how wasn't working like exactly how we wanted it to.
Yeah.
And I've literally never talked to him again about this. Maybe he'll see this. But, you know, just knowing I wasn't alone and feeling that way gave me so much like inner peace in a way. So it was like that was honestly a very impactful conversation I had with him. But yeah, it's crazy because like I said, a lot of times you've already done the work and you don't even know you've done it. Mm-hmm. So in body of work, you know, you said, and I was at the Planet Fitness on Charlotte Pike. And I called my mom and I'd had the Charlie thing happen, and then I had 2 or 3 other songs that were like so close, always almost. I even wrote a song, always almost, you know, like never could quite get it. And I told her, I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I was like, this is so much rejection, and like this is tough. And I'm probably 8 years, maybe 9 years in town at this point.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, you know, like when one door closes, another one's opening. So just because this thing didn't work out, I bet something else good's about to happen. Yeah. I was like, yeah, right. You know, whatever. And like, yeah, thanks, Mom. Of course you said that, you know. And then I swear to God, the next morning I got a FaceTime call, and I was taking a nap. Yeah. So I woke me up, and I just opened it and I answered it. Yeah. And it was Justin Timberlake. And he was like, dude, I've just recorded this song that you wrote called Believe. I was like, what is happening? Like, it was this crazy moment. Yeah. And shout out Rob Knox, who I wrote that song with, took it to Justin and made this whole play. But I didn't really know what was going on. And and then that happened. And then the next day I got a call from Lee Brice, and he was like, I'm making one of them girls my next single. Dang. So it was like, literally my mom could not have been more spot on. But I always tell that story to people to be like, hey, when you are feeling really, really down, I also have this thing where I feel like, and you said it too, it's like this. Whenever you're going through a valley, something good's about to happen. Keep your eyes open, keep your head up, because like you're not going to nosedive forever. If you're doing the work, it's gonna go back up.
Right. Yeah, there's like a little mantra that I try and live by too. It's like even when it feels like nothing's happening, something always is.
Yes, I love that.
And so, because there are these times where it's like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get a single. Yeah, I've written all these songs, no one's gonna cut them, dude. I'm working on a new record, and I'm never gonna get it done. Yeah, all this stuff, and then one day it changes, you know, and you just have to, you kind of gotta have faith in that process.
Have faith in the process, and you know, I'll be honest, I got myself to a place. Even though, you know, I'm not lying. I did call my mom, and I was like, I feel like giving up. And since then, and around that time, I got to a place where I go, you know what? If all my dreams don't come true, I can still have a great life. Yeah. I can still be doing what I love to do. I need to reframe. And this is something that Ashley taught me, which I think is brilliant. In every scenario, if you feel like if you feel bummed out or whatever, a type of way about it, just reframe your frame of thought and your expectations for what you want to happen. Yeah. If you're having a write with like a dream artist, you know, this has happened to all of us. Get the big write. We're like, we're in it. Yeah. And then, you know, it's not going like you want it to. And you're like, oh, we didn't get a great song. Reframe it to go, oh my gosh, I got to hang out with like somebody I've never gotten to hang out with before. And I learned something interesting about their process that I can use in my life. And it's like, oh, suddenly instead of, oh, I'm bummed out, I didn't get a great song. It's like, oh, wow, this is amazing. I got to have this amazing 4 hours with somebody that I really enjoyed hanging out with or whatever. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's an important thing. It's like, okay, sometimes you need to reframe your expectations, because whenever we get depressed or whenever we're feeling like down about something, it's usually because we had this expectation and this was the result. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's like all you have to do is say, well, let's just change the expectation to this. And then suddenly it's like not that big of a deal. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, speaking of one of them girls. Yeah. Love that song. Mm-hmm. I had some questions for you about it.
All right.
So
what does it mean to peel off the Bud Light label?
No. I know what that means.
I get asked that a lot.
No. So you did the track.
I did.
Okay. So was that that in there?
Yeah, that was me. Honestly, a lot of that track was similar to the demo. Yeah. All the guitar parts. I'm pretty sure like the drum programming is mine. And yeah, I think that mandolin is actually it's a 12-string mandolin. Things. But yeah, that's from the night of.
It's very, I don't know. every time I turn that song on or it comes on the radio,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, that is like such a signature part for me.
Yeah. It's interesting that da-na is very if you're da-na-na-na-na-na-na, it's very dissonant actually.
Yeah,
I was worried when I was playing it the first time that I was like, is this too whack? You know, because it doesn't really make sense exactly with the chords that are going on.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you just gotta do what feels good.
No, man. I mean, it was the perfect thing. And you were probably inspired when you were putting it in the track and making it, and like sometimes that's all.
Yeah, I
that's all it
remember
needs,
sitting down and going, and I'm sometimes I'm scared to say this kind of stuff because like we reference things all the time, but it didn't end up anything like the song I was referencing. But Girls Like You was a big song at the time, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do a song that kind of gives the vibe of that. And although it doesn't sound anything like Girls Like You, that was kind of where I started.
Definitely doesn't at all.
Definitely doesn't have any similarities.
Yeah, it's such an interesting song too. It's like, oh, surely somebody's written that title before.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's its own thing, and it's I don't know, like it's like a fresh version of that type of song to me, and it's very infectious.
Yeah, it's got a good melody. It's definitely, you know, going back to like we were talking about like ranking songs. Like when we finished writing it, I wasn't like, yeah, we got one today, boys.
Yeah.
You know, it was very frantic. Right, by the way, you know, I was heading home to Mississippi. I was halfway to Mississippi. And I got the call. I was like, hey, Lee wants to work tonight. I was like, what? And so I turned around in the highway, drove back on a Sunday night. It was Mother's Day or Father's Day, one of those, maybe Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And we started writing it like 10:30 that night, PM.
Wow.
Because Lee was like, I'm cutting on Monday. He's like, it's my last cut day for my record. And so, yeah, we finished writing at like 2 a.m. Like, Ashley and Dallas Davidson left around midnight probably, and then Lee and I stayed till like 2:30 working on the track.
Wow.
And then he recorded, I mean, he's a monster.
Yeah.
He never sleeps, I don't know. But he went in the studio the next day and finished it like at 9 a.m.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That was a fast turnaround. But then I drove to Mississippi the next day, and I remember Ashley calling me like, you got to feel good about last night. I was like, really? Like, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it went well. But I wasn't like, this is going to be a big record or anything, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and it's such a, you know, it's just like a lesson in showing up. You know, it would have been well within your rights to just say like, I can't make it, you know, or whatever. But it doesn't sound like you're that kind of guy.
Well, I did have I have a lot of rules I tell myself and things, but yeah, one of my things I did, which was like after I signed my pub deal, I said I'm going to say yes to every single thing for the first 4 years of my deal.
Yeah.
And so literally I was doing doubles, triples, quadruples. I mean, I literally never said no to anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, if I was out of town, like maybe I'd have to say no, but
sure.
Otherwise I was like, if it was at all physically possible, I was writing with anyone and everyone. Cause I was like, no one knows who I am. I got to get my name out there.
Yeah.
And then after that phase, I was like, then literally 4 years, I was like, I'm gonna do 4 years of that. And then I'm gonna say no to everything.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, supply and demand. If you're too available, like your time becomes less valuable.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if I want to get the best rights possible, I probably need to make myself not too available. So, and, you know, I spend a lot of time, obviously I'm producing a lot now, so that takes a lot of time, but also I try to do days where I'm just like coming up with ideas and like give a lot of space to create, which a lot of great songs have come out of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway.
No, that's important.
Yeah.
I have a lot of, my buddy Harry,
Harry Styles.
Harry, Maurice, the drummer for Hardy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But he's one of my good friends.
Yeah, I love him.
He told me like something years ago. He said the difference between having one thing on the calendar for the day and zero is huge.
Huge.
And I really now, especially when I can get a day with nothing.
Yes.
Like literally if I have to take my dog to the vet, it's over.
Yeah.
I need a whole day.
Yeah.
I will sit at my desk and I will rack my brain for 4 or 5 hours. It might be 4, 5, 6 p.m. before it's like a little glimmer of light.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, there it is.
Well,
and then I can take it down and do something with it.
And that's worth the whole day.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that same James Taylor podcast I listen to. I love James Taylor.
Yeah.
And he was like, they were like, what's the most ingredient to coming up with hit songs? And he was like, boredom, for sure.
Yeah. Getting bored is... It's so undervalued, and no one is ever bored anymore.
No one's ever bored anymore.
The number one thing you have to do to get bored is take your phone.
Yeah, look at this.
And throw it
there, yeah.
like outside over your fence. Because you get bored and you got a blank piece of paper in front of you and a guitar, like you're going to fill it up.
You have no choice. Yeah.
You have
Especially
to.
as creatives, we're always like, we got to be doing a million ideas in our head at the same time. Yeah. Somebody, Jeff Warburton just told me there's like this lockbox he got for his phone. You heard about this?
No.
And he said, like when he gets home, he was talking about, he has 2 daughters, and he was like, he noticed that when he had his phone, like he saw a difference in the way his daughters treated him.
Wow.
Like they could sense that he wasn't fully with them.
Yeah.
And so, he said he gets home and he puts his phone in this box and it locks it for like 2 hours.
That's really cool.
So he can't touch it.
I love that.
Because he's like, if I have the option, I'll hear it buzz, I'll do, but he's like, it locks it, can't touch it. Wow. Yeah. So anyway, really I was like, I need to look into that, but I'm kind of scared to look into it.
Yeah. What if you write a great idea and then you need a voice memo? I mean,
dude, can you imagine back in like the 60s and like whatever, they didn't have voice memos? Like,
I know.
Or even, I don't know if they had cassette tapes they could record back then.
They had to have had a way.
You think? I don't know. I think Paul McCartney was just keeping it all in the dome.
Well, people were probably smarter.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like just naturally. I mean, you listen. We're getting
or they just
so
forgot.
off topic here, but like, dude, Winston Churchill could like recite entire books.
Yeah, true.
And I read a poem yesterday.
Yeah,
and I couldn't even tell you what it was about.
I don't even know what I did yesterday.
Yeah, so it's not trending great for humanity.
No, I need to. Do you do any kind of like? Is diary the right word? Journaling. Yeah. That's like a manlier way to say that. Diary doesn't feel very like.
I
cool.
do almost every day. I've got 15 lines I do.
Okay.
Every morning. Yeah. And then at night, and I've just been doing this for about 2 months now. I have a day journal.
Yeah.
So it's not. I just write down what I did.
Well, okay, that's I don't do that, but I was thinking yesterday. I was like, would that help me remember what I'm doing with my life?
I don't have enough data on that.
Okay.
Because I've only been doing that.
Because you know what I'm talking about? Like somebody's like, hey, what'd you do this last weekend? I'm like, I don't freaking know. I'm gonna have to look at my phone to look at pictures. Like I literally, is that common or is that just me? Okay. Hopefully that's common. I don't need to like go to the doctor or something.
No, dude. Nothing makes sense.
Okay.
But the journaling helps.
What if I found that out here? You're like, no, actually, that no one does.
That's super weird, dude. You need to get that checked out. The journaling helps because I can go back now like 2 years and read about the terrible day I was having.
Yeah.
And then turn the page.
Yeah.
And literally read about this great day I was having. And they're right next to each other.
That's cool.
So that perspective is super helpful.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple more questions for you.
Oh yeah.
You are a writer on Truck Bed.
I am.
One of my most listened to songs.
Thank you very much.
I will tell you what happened to me.
Okay.
I was on a little trip.
Yeah.
And I was skiing.
Okay.
And I had like put the song on.
Right.
And I had not reset like the repeat.
Yeah.
So it's just on single song repeat, not like. So I listened to the song like 13 times in a row.
Oh God! Wow, I saw that. Was that a few months ago? I saw the spike in streaming. Yeah.
And then I just became obsessed with it. It was like I had to listen to it every day.
Proof that if you listen to anything enough, you will like it.
Yeah. But there's so many like hooky parts in the song.
Yeah.
I think one of them. I don't know. There's like the whistle. It's kind of like a whistle.
Sure. Yeah, it's a whistle. It's a whistle.
Was that in the? That in the? Did y'all do that like the day you wrote it?
Yeah.
That part was in there.
Yeah. So that's me whistling, and then let's see. From the day of, it's like all the guitars or all the riff guitars.
Right.
That's me, and then the whistle, and then 808s and drums in the verses, or actually drums throughout, but not the live drums.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that's what's left from the original.
Did you know on the day that you guys wrote it that it was gonna like, I guess in the record version it jumps the octave.
Yeah, that's all in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a discussion we had, and because Hardy was in the middle of making his rock album, and we knew it was Mockingbird and the Crow. It was one of the last songs I think written for that
Okay.
project. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But we knew exactly what the project was at that point. So I think in my head, I was thinking like, oh, I hope if this is rock enough, because it's pretty, a lot of the melody and the way it's produced is like pretty pop.
Right.
And so I don't remember whose idea it was exactly to do that, but I was like, oh, this will be cool to take it to this other place.
Yeah.
So that it can live in this album. And it's almost like both sides of the album in the same song, which is what it ended up being, you know?
Yeah.
And then became very concerned about it because I was like, oh, we just set money on fire. There's no way they'll ever play this on country radio.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is like how we really make our money.
Totally.
So, and that was a whole process. So I think I can speak for all of us. When at least Hunter, Ashley, and me, we talked about it. And we're like, 6 song, we'll probably never make money on that song.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it blew up on streaming. It was doing really well on streaming. And then we were writing with Hardy, and he goes, I hope I can say this. I think I can say this.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And
if you think about it later and you hate it, we'll just cut it out.
well,
So
I don't
worry.
care. I don't think he would care either. But we're sitting in my studio, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, Seth and the team, they want this to be the radio single. And we're like, let's go. This is sick, you know? He's like, but they say we have to cut out the end, you know, where it goes crazy. I was like, oh, okay, you know, whatever, it'll be fine. He's like, and I told him, fuck that and fuck you. I was like, well, fuck me. I was like, geez, we're never going to make money on this now.
Yeah.
They're not going to send it. And thankfully, you know what? They sent it anyways. And then some stations made their own edit.
Right.
And then some just played the whole thing.
Well, I remember the first time. So again, I'd listened to the song so many times.
Yeah.
And the reason I think it became this like sort of crack thing that I was addicted to was when the song would end.
Yeah.
It's this huge release. And like all my favorite Hardy songs make me want to go like this.
Yeah.
It's just like the thing.
Yeah.
So the song would start over.
Yeah.
And it didn't do that part the first time. So I was like, I got to listen to this song again. And then by the time it happened, I went back.
Yeah, no, that's cool observation.
So when it came on the radio the first time, it was playing like on the Big 98.
Sure.
And it didn't go there.
Yeah.
I literally called Zach Aubin because him and Hardy are super tight. I was like, Zach, this is bullshit, bro. They ruined the song with this radio.
Yeah,
edit.
it is funny, man.
But it all worked out.
It all worked out. Yeah, thankfully. You know, we're big. Do you like Sleep Token?
Yeah.
So Hardy and I both love Sleep Token. He turned me on to him. But it's cool. Their songs take you on a journey.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Truck Bed. That's why I'm like especially proud of that song, is because it broke every rule in the book, but it still was a hit, and it takes you like on such a journey from the beginning of to the end of the song.
Yeah.
Man, I have a weird story about that actually.
Come on.
I was playing this show in Hawaii a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And I started off the show by playing Truck Bed, and I see this guy in the front row, big surfer dude, a lot of hair, and he is just like sobbing. And I was like, this is so weird. Yeah. Like this guy's like crying on Truck Bed. Usually everybody's getting hype, you know?
Yeah.
So I finished the show, and this guy comes up and grabs me and just gives me this huge hug. And he's like, dude, you don't know how important that song is to me. And I'm thinking like, which song? Like Give Heaven Some Hell or whatever, you know? Like, he's like, no, Truck Bed, man. He's like, that was the story of my life. That song got me through my divorce. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, like literally I used to have to sleep in my truck bed in the yard. I was like, oh my gosh, dude. I was like not expecting him to go there, you know? I was not expecting that part of the song to resonate with him.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, that got me through some hard times because I knew Hardy was going through it too, man. I was like, yeah, bro.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, man.
Dude, you never know with the song.
You never know. Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, dude, you've had so many hits. I feel like in such a, I mean, to me, it's a short period of time. I know it
Oh, yeah.
probably, I mean, I know it's maybe the frequency of single is picked up, but I know it's been like a long journey, as I got to hear about today. So it's really, I don't know. It's like inspiring, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's the longer I do it, the more I realize, oh, we're all just kind of doing the same thing and none of it's that serious.
Yeah, just have fun.
Yeah, you know, we all try to make it way more serious than it is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're kind of just dicking around.
Right.
So
yeah, trying to make some songs that are cool. And,
yeah.
Well, before we get out of here, I always like to ask if you could like go back to you, 19-year-old you that was just moving to town and like getting started on your journey or whatever, what would you, if you could send back a little piece of advice in time, what would you tell him?
A lot of advice. If I could write a letter to me. Isn't that song good?
Yeah.
Jeez, one of the best songs ever.
Yeah.
What would I write to myself? Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I think I've had a lot of advice. I think I spent a lot of time worrying about things that weren't important. I think trying to do too many things is like a pitfall of mine. Like I was like,
what do you mean?
Well, I was like, I want to be, amazing at the cello, and I want to be like producing like a bunch of different stuff, and I want to have my own band and do all this stuff, and I want to get great at writing songs and like do all this stuff. I think it's like, and I was like, I wrote a musical. I did a lot of random things.
Yeah.
So I think, there's a great book called One Thing, and it's just basically like the gist of the book. I'll save you $20. Just do one thing and get really, really good at it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get really good at a lot of things at the same time. So like it's better to spend a few months of your life like getting good at things separately than like all at the same time.
Oh, okay. Makes sense though.
I don't know if I'd go to college again, to be honest. I don't know if that's what the listeners want to hear, but I kind of feel like maybe a little bit of waste of time for what I ended up doing. Mm-hmm. I think, it got me to Nashville, which was beneficial, but I never used anything about my degree or, any relationships there or anything weren't really helpful. Yeah. I'm just keeping it a buck because I think a lot of people be like, you never know. You have something to fall back on. I'm just like, I don't really know if that even makes sense, especially like if you're going to go to Belmont. And like, thankfully I had a scholarship, but I wouldn't spend a bunch of money on school if you're going to get into music, especially if you're going to go be an engineer or if you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, it's like, don't load yourself down with a bunch of debt to where you got to start your career and then immediately go do something else just to pay your student loan.
It doesn't make any sense. Go to the University of YouTube and figure it out yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I would say. But I don't know. Those are probably two terrible answers. But
I think that's great advice.
I would maybe. I'll stick with those.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I can't believe I don't think we have ever met before.
No, I know. I was funny on the way here. I was like, I can't believe we've never met.
I know.
We have so many circles that are like, we're in the same kind of cruise and stuff. But I'm a fan of yours and love the podcast and everything you got going on. And I appreciate you having me.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it. That's the pod. See you later. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of 10 Year Town. If you want to follow along with the show, make sure you follow us on Instagram at 10 Year Town Pod. And you can find me, your host. I'm at Troy Cartwright, or send me an email, troy@10yeartown.com. We'll see you next week. Thanks.